Welcome to Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle Show, where we love to inspire and educate the community to live more healthily, more balanced and feeling more fulfilled in life. And today for our first guest we have Michael Clark, who's a medical intuitive, and today he's talking to us about naturally healing medical conditions. So Michael, can you tell us a bit more about that?
Before I go into about naturally healing medical conditions, I feel it's very important to understand the 5 critical energies and the 6 stages of disease. So when I talk about the 5 critical energies, these energies are within the body and they're outside the body as well. And these critical energies are nuclear energy, electrical energy, radiant energy, chemical energy, and mechanical energy. Now, we have different diseases and disorders based on where the imbalance is in the energies in our system and around us, in our environment as well. And what happens is, if we get too much of an energy, it starts to accumulate in what I call its home within the body, and then it can move. This is the first stage of disease, right? And then the second stage is where that energy starts to put pressure on that organ or that part of the body, and then it moves into a spread. This is where it starts to spread through the body, and then it starts to isolate into weak areas of the body, within the body. And that's what I call the isolation stage. That's stage 4 in the disease process. Stage 5 is the manifestation stage, and this is where most people start to feel and see symptoms, yeah? And this is when it's really isolated into a tissue within the body and really starting to take over that tissue, and that's why we start to see the symptoms. And then the 6th stage, which is the destruction stage and the disease stage, is when the energy starts to really take over the whole body and starts to, really take control of the whole body. So the reason I want to share those energies and those processes and stages of disease is because it's very important to understand how you can heal medical conditions naturally. Because when you understand the stage of disease that you're at, you are then able to meet the energy where it is at in the stage of disease and move it back through the layers and through the stages of disease to bring the body and the being of the person back into balance and back into alignment.
Okay, could you, for our viewers, could you give us some examples of how you've seen changes in people with medical diseases?
Definitely. So I know of a lady who had breast cancer, right? So that'd be the 6th stage of disease. Now, breast cancer is related to excess nuclear energy in the body, yeah? And what this lady did, she went out and did simple natural process to support bringing that nuclear energy and the whole energies in the body back into balance, and then also to step out of the disease stage and back to a place of alignment and back to a place of being in tune with herself. Now, all she simply did was change nutrition. So she changed what she was putting into her body. She changed her environment. So she was working in a very busy environment. She stepped out of that work environment. She changed what she was doing daily. So she wasn't pushing all the time. She started to relax and gave herself more time. And the last thing she did was she sat beside a tree each day and literally sat there with her eyes closed and said, "I love you cells, I love you cells, I love you cells." Did that for an hour each day. Within 3 months, she was able to move beyond what was diagnosed as stage 4 breast cancer to the point where people were couldn't believe it had happened. They seen it and believed it was a miracle.
Just for our viewers, you mentioned nuclear stage. Could you explain what the nuclear part of it means for them?
So nuclear is a nuclear energy, yeah? So we've got 5 different energies in the body, yeah? A nuclear energy, if we want to make it as simple, is basically space in the body. So nuclear energy is the space that we have in our body, and what happened is she had too much nuclear energy, which created so much space in her body, which is what created the breast cancer.
So if you were to give us, if you have some tips for our viewers, what would your top tip be for them for today?
So the top tip for me would be first to understand your body, because no one knows your body like you do. So allow yourself to understand your body and just listen in and connect with your body. Yeah, when you listen in and connect to your body, it can create massive shifts for yourself, but you can also understand your body and yourself better to then be able to heal medical conditions naturally. because no one understands or knows your body like you know your body.
How would you explain that, tuning into your body and reading those signs?
For me, the way to do that, I feel, would be just to find a quiet space by yourself, relax, and just simply close your eyes, connect into your body, and just ask your body, what do you need to tell me now? What do you need to share with me now? And just listen into those answers.
So is that that's a great deal about trusting, isn't it? Trusting that first thing that comes, and I guess there's a bit of people trusting themselves to have the answer. Would you say that's where that comes from?
It's all about trust in self. And as part of that is, if you sit with your body and ask it the questions, you're always going to get an answer. And what I suggest is just don't judge that answer, just always have confidence and write that answer down or listen to that answer. Even if it feels really weird and awkward and different, just give it a go, because I guarantee your body knows.
Thank you, Michael. And for more information on Michael Clark and naturally healing medical conditions, then please go to our website healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And now we'll go to break, and after the break we'll be back with co-host April Shepherd interviewing Peter Nichols, who's an overseas charity aid worker.
Everybody, welcome back. My name's April Shepherd. I'm the new co-host here at Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle. Today I've got Peter Nichols in with me. He's an expert on overseas charity work and aid. Hi Peter.
Hi April, thanks for having me.
When did you first start volunteering overseas and how did you get into it?
We went with my daughter's school to Papua New Guinea many years ago, about 9 years ago, and we stayed in a little village called Buna. Buna is at the end of the Kokoda track. About 200 people live in the village. No running water, no flushing toilets, there are long drops, there are holes in the ground, and no electricity. They had 2 unfinished classrooms, the facilities were terrible, 3 unfinished teachers' quarters. When I came back to Australia, I wanted to raise money to finish the teachers' quarters off and finish the classrooms off. So we were able to put a concert on. I went back to Papua New Guinea to supervise the finishing off of those. A tsunami had hit Buna and wiped out the entire area. All of Oro province was wiped out by the tsunami. We stayed again with Claire, our host family. Claire cooks outside on corrugated iron. Her oven is actually an old army tank, gas tank that's cut in half, and she uses that as a Dutch oven to do all her cooking. Eutychus at the time, the son that showed us around, 15 years of age. A lot of times, most times, their education stops at 10, 12, 13, 14 years of age because they don't have the facilities there. They don't have the teachers there. So they really have nowhere to progress. So they stay on. His dad was working in the mines in Bougainville. His uncle, who lived next door, was a fisherman. That was their life, subsistence farmers and fishermen. So that's what they went into because it's so remote and because their education wasn't there. Because the education was better, and because the facilities were better, the teachers came, the kids wanted to go to school. Eutychus' education improved to a standard so that he was able to go on to university, and he's now the top Italian chef in Port Moresby. So that's how it got started. And then we progressed on from there. I actually went on a holiday, a cheap holiday to Vietnam. I always wanted to go there. The hotel manager and I became good friends, and he was telling me about the work he started doing in the mountains with the Indigenous people in the very remote mountains in Vietnam, just out of Da Nang. He was building a school up there, and I said, I can help you. I've got some money left over from the project in Papua New Guinea, and that's how it started in Vietnam. We've now completed 5 schools in Vietnam as well, assisting villages that are extremely remote. Again, no running water, no power. So we're able to put solar on the roofs of the schools so that they've got power there, so that we've got supporters now that provide reconditioned computers so the kids have got better facilities at the school, again, so that they can choose whether they want to stay in Buna, in the village, to be a fisherman, or in Vietnam be a tree lopper and a tree grower or a rice grower, or no, I don't want to do that, I want to go on to be other things. When we first started doing it, my Australian brain said, this is what you should do, this is what we can do, this is how we can help them. But that's me thinking in Australia with my Western brain. You go to these countries, you need to know the culture, you need to know the religion, you need to know what they can grow and what they can't grow there. Tam Lan, one of the villages, we've just built a library and facilities there at the school in remote Vietnam. They are honey growers and peppercorn growers. So they can't grow other vegetables and things, but by helping them and helping them with their education, they can then start producing honey on a larger scale that helps the rest of the community. It's very sad. During the Vietnam War, Agent Orange was used, and Agent Orange causes cancer. That is now in their DNA, and it's passed down from generation to generation. It causes, not all the time with children or adults, it causes massive deformities, so we also help with education and facilities for those people suffering the disabilities from Agent Orange as well too.
And what would you say is your most memorable experience from being overseas and doing all this amazing work?
So many things. To look at the children, help the children. Eutychus, to help him go from being this 15-year-old kid with almost no future other than being a fisherman or a vanilla. They grow vanilla beans in Buna. For him to now be the top Italian chef in Port Moresby and see him with his big chef's hat on is fantastic. A little girl in respite care, 10 years of age, half a heart and one lung, to be such good friends with her and to go over and to help her with her learning. Other children in respite care that are in wheelchairs, the look on they're very shy. They're a very shy people, the Vietnamese, but to see the looks on their faces when we go in and help them with new books or better equipment to help them get around, whether it's wheelchairs or things like that. There is extreme cases. Miss Tam, 22 years of age, so badly bent and twisted, she's never been off her bed. So we provided a new bed for her. It's things like that. It's seeing the appreciate. They don't expect anything. They don't want anything, but they need so much. And it's all those memorable moments of helping the children. And I want to give back and give children the opportunity to be the best that they can be. And it's the most rewarding thing to give to other people, to see their thanks. Dairy cows, we give a lot of dairy cows as well. One dairy cow not only gives milk to a family, but a calf that they have is worth about 2 years of hard labour. So they're able to sell that calf. The cows live in better conditions than the families. They're treated like royalty because the cows mean so much to them. So it's very emotional going over there and seeing what we do, but it is a matter of going over, and really education is the most important thing and the key to helping people all over the world.
That's so wonderful. And what would you suggest to people in Australia who want to go over and help and volunteer?
We don't want it to be a road show of people going and visiting, but if you can go over and help in the schools, volunteer in any way you can. If you can't afford the money to go overseas, do what you can here. For our charity, we've got people knitting beanies, we've got people knitting jumpers, we've got people making quilts. So they might not be able to donate money, but they can donate their time and talent to be able to help out those people overseas. And if children, I'd love the federal government to fund every 15 to 16-year-old to go to a third world country. I think we would have a better work ethic from our children, a better understanding of how lucky we are, because the children would really appreciate how lucky we are here in Australia.
I think that's so true, and thank you so much, Peter, for coming in and having a chat with us. If you're interested in volunteering overseas or want to know more about Peter, his webpage will be on our website.
Welcome back, and we welcome back Tracy Jardim. Welcome, Tracy. And Tracy's with us today to continue talking about raw food and why not refined sugar. Why not refined sugar, Tracy?
Well, as we know, refined sugar is probably one of the biggest addictions in the world, especially in Western society. And refined sugar can be found in so many different products on the supermarket shelves, and they're mostly hidden. Things like sauces, and marinades. They all contain sugars, and unless we're looking closely at the labels, we don't know that they're there. So things like white sugar, white flour, even brown sugar, corn syrups and starches, they're all very highly processed products that contain a lot of refined sugars. And we know that consuming a lot of refined sugars can lead to diseases like diabetes, which is highly prevalent in our society, unfortunately. But if we look at taking on a raw food diet, eating more raw foods, we are going to reduce the amount of refined sugars in our diet. So things like green leaves, spinach and kale and that sort of thing. Nuts are really good fats and oils in nuts. Things like fresh fruits and vegetables. Fruit has naturally occurring sugars, so we're much better off to eat fresh fruit than refined sugar things like snack bars and stuff like that.
Oh, right, that's really out there, isn't it? For people in the awareness to think of, of juices and things like that, which may not be as pure.
Absolutely, Linda. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, juices are a good one, unless you're there like squeezing the orange yourself, which takes a lot of energy. But that could be a good thing because you're burning calories when you're squeezing that.
True that. That's true.
So yeah, we just need to be wary of the things that we're picking up off the supermarket shelf and checking the label. Yeah, because the refined sugars are there and they're hidden, and what we want to do is reduce the incidence of diabetes and increase better health for everybody.
Right. What would you today could be your top tip for our viewers on something they can take away from today about refined sugars?
Always look at the label. Especially on sauces and marinades, things like that, and marinated meats that you might, quickly choose from the supermarket, because there's a lot of that sort of convenient food that the supermarkets are putting out now, and they've got hidden sugar. So yeah, just always look at the label and look at the sugar content, and if you've got time, always make it yourself.
And for more information on raw food and refined sugar, please go to our website healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And after the break, we'll be back with Kim Townsend talking about finding calm within chaos. Welcome back. And next we have Kim Townsend, who's a lifestyle coach. Welcome, Kim.
Hi, Linda.
Now, you are here to talk to us about finding calm within chaos.
Exactly. So I suppose everybody's really familiar with chaos, either the external chaos or the internal chaos. And I find it's really important to know how to find the calm for your health and for just finding solutions. So imagine an emergency situation where ambulance were required. If they didn't know how to be calm, their lives would be lost, and solutions wouldn't be found. So finding calm within internally and externally is really important. I suppose what I find is that so many people are living today in a place of stress, and stress is it's a silent epidemic. It's an addiction, and it's slowly killing us. I mean, there's the stress of what you're doing right now, but what the body does over time, it creates all those chronic illnesses and is really debilitating. So it's really important to find calm.
And what would you say are some tips for actually finding calm within chaos?
So there's quite a few things, but the easiest thing is to learn how to use your breath. I mean, you hear people say, just calm down, take 10 deep breaths. It's not an old wives' tale, it is a fact of living. So you find the calm in the breath, just deep breath in, deep breath out, and you'll find it's calming. So that's the simple, straight up solution to finding calm right at that moment. But for a bigger picture of calm and having calm throughout your life, there's things like what I call the SOS, simplifying, organising and systemising things. There's also what I call connectication, which is about learning how to communicate, to have connection so you can create your support team. And that helps you to find the calm, because you learn to express things and release any of the tension that is within yourself.
So I guess that incorporates you have loads of other tips, don't you? You have loads of other simple things people can do to simplify.
Yeah, so there's understanding what the triggers are, what does set you off, and learning to either eliminate those triggers or to minimise them, or figure out how to approach them. As soon as you feel that anxiety or that discomfort inside, do the deep breaths rather than waiting for it to explode. So, finding a bit of time between a situation and, instead of reacting, learning how to respond. So you're doing it mindfully and, and consciously.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, though I guess that other thing is the breath work and the finding that relaxation and simple things like that about that. Can people just incorporate that in their daily lives easily?
Meditation is really good. A lot of people sort of see meditation as a monk in a cave and sage and candles, or a hippie out in the paddock. But meditation can be incorporated into your daily lives in so many different ways. Just be walking down the street, instead of worrying about, oh, I left something at home and the house is a mess, or I'm going to the busy office. Just breathe calmly and just focus on being present, being there in the moment, just enjoying the walk. So that is the simplest form of meditation. It doesn't have to be something you set aside for half an hour. You can do it anytime, anywhere. In the shower.
Oh, that's just
it's
fantastic.
Really simple.
Yeah. Thank you, Kim, for sharing that. And for more information on Kim or finding calm within your own chaos, then please go to our website. And for now, we'll say bye-bye until next week from us all here at Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle.